Yeah.
Okay, this final one comes from Sarah. My fiance had an authoritarian father and has trouble ever standing up for himself. I don't want to step out in front of him and be bolder than him because I want him to take that position and be the leader and protector. I've expressed that to him, but I don't know how to help him foster that. How can I help him find courage and get more manly without embarrassing him?
Okay, couple of things here. There's a difference between, because I'm also getting this from how you are portraying it. I'm not saying that you're being inaccurate. Sometimes women think that a man is not standing up for himself if he is being respectful to his parents. You get that a lot with the in-laws.
Yeah.
Right? That can happen. So in other words, is it something that you disagree with his father? Is it something that you both have agreed upon together and you know that you are in the same boat, that you share the same view and that his father doesn't? You need to establish that, right? And because my wife and I have had this sometimes in the past where I don't want to overstep my bounds, but I've said, okay, is this something, for example, with some relatives, not really her parents are fantastic, I got to say that, but there are other relatives. I'm like, is this something where you're uncomfortable and you want me to say something? Because I have overstepped my bounds in the past in wanting to be protective of my wife, kind of the other way. And she said, you know what, don't do that. I don't want you to step in unless it's ABC, X, Y, Z. So that's something you need to establish first, okay? Assuming that you have, and that this is a man, I noticed you say fiance, who has a problem standing up for himself. So assuming that it is an area where you know he should be standing up for himself, what I would say is, he's your fiance, keep him that way. Don't turn that into husband yet. Get him in jiu-jitsu. Get him in some kind of a sport where he gets his ass kicked and gains some confidence and understands what it's like day in and day out to have to rebuild himself after being torn down. That is very important. I am telling you this because a lot of these men have never actually, I said this about Donald Trump sometimes, guys who've never had their ass kicked. And I mean that. That's a formative experience. Having a bully force you to eat dirt is it really does change who you are. And if it's a guy where, kind of like when you have a puppy, right? When you're looking at a litter of puppies, okay, you grab them, you feel them, maybe you move them around a little bit, you put them on their back, you see, this one have fight? Is this one that I think, is this one unpredictable? Is this one timid? Because it's the timid dogs that are actually more dangerous, right? They get afraid of kids and they bite. So I would say put him in an environment where he has the ability to condition himself to stand up, because he is not, a backbone is something, any kind of bone, right, that gets stronger, or muscle. People don't realize this. Bones get stronger. When you lift weights, bones get more dense, particularly with old people. That's why you get osteoporosis. That's why astronauts come back and their bones are less dense. So your muscles get stronger, connective tissue gets stronger, but bones actually get denser. They get more heavy, put under pressure. It is a conditioning process. This man may have never been through that conditioning process. So agree upon things for which he should be standing up. And if you see that he's not, put him in an environment where that conditioning process can take place, right? Give him the tools. He may not know because his dad forbid him from those tools. Then after that, if he refuses to stand up for himself, he is not a man who will stand up for you, and that is someone who should be ex-fiance and not a husband. These are, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say that another great way to do that is just to encourage him and to respect him. And that could very well be the way of seeing his puff out his chest a little more.
Well, you should always encourage him and respect him. I'm assuming that you're not an abusive spouse.
No, but I mean, I think that she would be surprised to see how much that would make a difference. Because if it actually is an authoritarian father figure and that he is sort of hesitant around all that sort of stuff, if she compliments and says like, hey, I really appreciate the way you work hard at what you do. I really respect what you do in school or in work or whatever, that sort of thing. That means a lot to a man, and that can be the building blocks toward him actually having the confidence.
I think edifying him is important, but I don't think if it's someone who, shrinks in his tail between his legs, I don't think that's enough.
Fair.
I think it's important. I think that's something that all women should do. All men need pats on the back. That's something that a lot of women often forget. Even though we may not necessarily be affectionate, we may not cry, in front of you the same way that wives do, and that's you're more sensitive and gentle and tender, and we love you. Men do need pats on the back. They do need an attaboy. So that's correct. But I still do think if this is a scenario where a guy has never been given those tools and conditioned to have a backbone. Listen, some people have it, some people don't, and some people who don't have it can grow one, and some people cannot. I will tell you, okay, this is I will leave. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if he is timid, if he is weak and can be bossed around very easily, it sounds like she's a pretty assertive person. It could be very easy for her to just replace that in his life and then boss him around for the rest of his life.
And that's what you usually
it's a really easy thing to just slide in and be that next figure. Okay, whatever you say, and it just becomes a new person.
And she won't respect him. He's going to marry the first woman he lays. No, I think you're right. I'll give you this as a story, and then we have to go. when we did that, so if ever someone says that, hey, everyone here has donations to Act Blue, yep, $1. And the reason for it is because we had to create that Open Minds Foundation. Remember for the Change My Mind at the Texas State?
It was a good
time. We did a Change My Mind and we did a Crowder Confronts at the Texas State Democratic Convention.
Yep.
Like, we have to give $1 to get a booth. Everyone here gave $1 through Act Blue.
Dang it.
And that's where I was doing a Confronts dressed as Uncle Sam. And that happened, and these people started swarming around and getting pretty loud and pretty violent. Because, again, keep in mind, we're at a Texas Democrat state convention.
Yeah.
These are not people who are concerned about us having reinforcements.
This is a lion's den.
And as they were swarming in, Quarterback Garrett had not been with us for that long at that point.
Maybe like a couple months.
Maybe it wasn't a year.
Oh, well.
No.
It wasn't a year. And you can see we had at that point we had some different people. We had camera people and everything. You can see you can even see the camera shot go like this. The perspective go away.
It was like a million miles away.
And you just see Quarterback Garrett getting in there with his, I think, were you in Ranger panties too? No, but you see Quarterback Garrett in there like, oh, all right, let's go. And this has happened several times when Antifa showed up in Austin. Garrett's like, we're like, no, Quarterback, let's go. That's a quarter hate crime.
Yeah,
it's the way he is.
Gibbon had to pull me. I was like, all right, we got to go because Garrett's gonna get in a fight.
By the way, you may want to take some boxing lessons, just because if Gibbon's not there to pull you back, I want to make sure that you can give him
Make
a fresh
land,
one.
yeah.
There are some people who are just like that, and there are some people. I know that Gerald has. I know everyone here actually does have a backbone, and that's actually something that is kind of a pruning process naturally in working here. It's very hard for me with what we do to work in this sort of pressure cooker without people who have your back or understand that. And we have had that in the past, and they didn't work out for even other reasons, but that's sort of, I guess you would say, that's sort of the flair. Those fired up people, ooh, that person doesn't really do, so that's not a clutch player. This probably isn't the place for them. And there are some people like Quarterback Garrett, that's a big reason why he works here. He came in, I've talked about this before, he came in, he wasn't quite up to what we needed for a technical editor at that point, but it was his attitude, and that was one of those things. I remember my wife watching it, and her eyes tearing up, going like, look at Garrett, because people are about to kill. She goes, people are about to kill you, Stephen, and he's the only one getting between them and you.
Yeah.
And she was touched. So that is something, I will say this, to all other women out there, look for that first, because it's a lot easier to spot a man with a backbone. You much rather have a wild stallion than a beaten puppy as a man. Because you know what? That wild stallion it's bridled power, and that's bridled power that can serve you and protect you. But someone who doesn't have power in reserve is fearful because they know that they've got nothing in the tank, and that's when those people look for weapons, for gangs, for some kind of manipulation. They have to find tools because they don't believe in their own strength. And I'm not talking about physical strength, I'm talking about strength of character. Women, that is what you look for first and foremost, not just nice.
Watch Good Morning Mug Club live every Monday through Thursday at 10:15 Eastern.